money, possessed by certain individuals while others lack it. Top 1% have acquired expertise in managing their finances, whereas most are still on the deathbed of poverty.
Poverty.
That true poverty,
Dealing with poverty.
anti-poverty,
extreme poverty
is food poverty.
You might perceive money merely as numerical figures, spreadsheets, and calculations, or as an equation to be solved. However, the actual world's financial decisions are often made in settings far removed from calculators. They occur around private rooms, dinner tables, influenced by emotions like ego, revenge, pride, and personal gains.
Which appears to be...
Federal Reserve is raising the
Fed
interest
is set
rate
to raise interest rates.
Highest inflation in...
Have you ever thought about what are the money traps that wealthy elites want you to always be trapped in? One of the biggest traps that people fall into, like not subscribing or hitting the like button. If you haven't done that already, go subscribe and like the video, as it tremendously helps us. Recent research has uncovered that millennials experience higher levels of financial stress compared to other generations. They also express more financial regrets than their counterparts, with over half reporting emotional distress during the home buying process. This highlights the critical need for a thorough discussion of the most detrimental financial pitfalls that should be avoided.
Money.
real money.
This is especially vital as it is reported that most millennials believe that they'll never have enough money to get what they want in life. Quite surprising to discover that millennials are the primary drivers of luxury market growth in 2023. This underscores a concerning trend where a significant number of people are spending excessively and living beyond their financial means. Notably, among those under the age of 35, one of the most prevalent spending categories is convenience, which includes online shopping, delivery services, and ride-sharing services like Uber. Another significant expense is related to food. Additionally, it's worth mentioning that a substantial 75% of millennials are engaged in a sort of competition with their peers when it comes to possessions like clothing, cars, phones, and other extras. Unfortunately, this often translates to money being spent unwisely. It appears all too easy to fall into a lifestyle that proves to be financially unsustainable in the long run. When discussing excessive spending, one of the most detrimental actions you can take is accumulating significant student loan debt. For instance, statistics reveal that the average student loan balance for the class of 2021 stood at $37,574, whereas the typical college graduate earns just $55,000. This situation doesn't align logically, as it entails taking on debt rather than commencing your career and promptly investing your earnings. Instead, your primary focus becomes rapidly repaying the debt, particularly before interest rates rise further. What many people fail to grasp is that
there is no nobility in poverty. I repeat, there is no nobility in poverty.
the effort and resources required to clear this debt, especially when you start your career at a lower income level, can sometimes set you back for decades in terms of wealth accumulation, particularly if you lack the option to move back in with your parents. Certainly, college education is expensive, but it necessitates some introspection. First, consider your life goals and whether they necessitate a degree. If they don't, it's advisable to question whether attending college is the right choice or if saving that money is a more prudent option. Secondly, if your goals do require a degree, evaluate whether taking on debt to obtain that degree is a worthwhile endeavor. You might be surprised to discover that in recent times, employers place greater value on work experience than they do on a degree.
There's no need even to have a college degree at all, or even high school. I mean, if somebody graduated from a great university, that may be an indication that they will be capable of great things, but it's not necessarily the case. You know, if you look at, say, people like Bill Gates or Larry Ellison, Steve Jobs, these guys didn't graduate from college. But if you had a chance to hire them, of course, that would be a good idea.
Well, oftentimes business education today, and I see it all the time, kids come out of college, the best colleges, Wharton and Harvard and Stanford and some of the great business schools, and they'll come out and they won't have practical experience. There's too many case studies that aren't practical.
You know, we ask kids that are 16 to 18 years old to make $100,000 debt decisions when they go off to university. And they're not prepared for that. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They just assume, okay, I'm going to pay 4 years of education at $25,000 a pop, and when I come out the other side, somehow I'll be able to pay it back.
Right.
That's not how life works anymore.
I think having the flexibility to explore a lot of different things, which you can do when you're in college, which is one of the amazing things about being in college, is you can work on all these hobbies and code a lot of stuff and try a lot of different things. It's this amazing flexibility that I think most people take for granted. And once you decide, okay, I'm going to start a company and I'm going to do it with someone else, you immediately now need to convince someone else if you want to change your mind on something. And I think people really undervalue the option value and flexibility.
I mean, it's actually kind of funny, you know, if you think of like what is education, like you're basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain, and it's actually amazingly bad in conventional education, because like it shouldn't be like this huge chore. You know, someone's standing up there kind of lecturing at people, and they've done the same lecture 20 years in a row, and they're not very excited about it. And in fact, I think a lot of things people learn are probably there's no point.
One of the most immediate actions you can take right now is to either establish or enhance your credit score. It's important to recognize that your credit history in your late teens and early 20s will prove invaluable in the future when you seek to purchase a home, obtain a car loan, secure a business loan, or negotiate favorable terms. It will demonstrate that you are a responsible borrower who has consistently met payment obligations. The good news is that building credit is quite straightforward. However, before delving into some tips for improving your credit score right away, it's crucial to address a common misconception that has persisted among the average working class. Many people grew up believing that credit cards were a bad financial choice, associating their use with irresponsibility. Consequently, they opted to pay for everything with cash. Little did they know that this approach was fundamentally flawed, and they often only realized it when they were denied a mortgage for their first property due to a lack of credit history. To build a strong credit history, treat your credit card as an extension of your bank account. If you cannot afford to purchase something outright with cash, you should not put it on your credit card. Simply use your credit card for everyday expenses, just as you would with cash, and make sure to pay off the entire balance at the end of each month. By doing so, you will gradually build your credit, and as long as you maintain a zero balance, you will qualify for the lowest interest rates when it comes time to buy a house or leverage your financial assets. Many people are unaware that having a good credit score when purchasing a home can result in significant savings. A common error made by nearly everyone is failing to monitor their finances. This problem is so pervasive that 45% of millennials are unaware of their bank account balances, and only 24% are managing their spending in a financially responsible manner, a far lower percentage than what might have been anticipated. It's imperative that this trend comes to an end. Consider this scenario. If you start investing $100 per month at the age of 20, with an 8% return, by the time you reach 65, you will have accumulated a total investment of $504,000. You can go watch our previous video on how you can make $500 to $600 a day in 2023 by doing some easy side hustles. Until next time.
Bye.